I'm Treacy Funk, retired athletic director at St. Paul Central High School, and I'm being honored with the MnIAAA Hall of Fame Award. I was born to Bill and Peggy Funk in St. Paul, Minnesota. I was the youngest of 7 children. I grew up in St. Paul my whole life, and I went to Highland Park High School in St. Paul. I was a 3-sport athlete there. I played volleyball, basketball, and softball. I was all conference in all 3 sports. I earned 12 varsity letters there. After high school and graduation, I went to Mankato State University, where I earned my teaching and coaching degrees there. After college, I came back to St. Paul. I substitute taught for 2 years, and then I got my first teaching position in St. Paul as an adaptive physical education instructor. And then a year later, I was hired by St. Paul as a physical education and health teacher at St. Paul Central. After 17 years of teaching in the high school at St. Paul Central, the principal came up to me one day and said that the athletic director position was opening up, and she asked me if I would be interested. And right away I said no, knowing that the time and commitment and responsibility that job entailed. She told me to think about it, and so I did, and I went home and for a week contemplated back and forth, talked to my family. I had a brother, Pat, that I went to and said, "What do you think?" And he said, "Oh my gosh, that's your job, that's you." I had another brother who was already an athletic director in the system, so he said, "Yes, Treacy, go for it." So I went back to my principal, Mary McBee, and said, "You know what, I think I am interested." And she said, "Well, go ahead and apply." And I ended up getting the position. So for 14 years, I was the athletic director at St. Paul Central. I guess my parents had a whole lot to do with me going into education. I'd always said that I wanted to be a teacher and coach, and I think that came from my dad was a high school coach, teacher, and principal in St. Paul. My mom was a secretary at a high school, at a private high school. And I also had 3 siblings that went into education as well. The kids are the best part of the job, watching them grow, seeing them learn through their failures and succeed and have a place to belong. That was the best part. Most of my decisions as an athletic director were based on a kids first mentality. My proudest accomplishment as an AD was I was able to bring a couple new sports into St. Paul Public Schools. One of those was alpine ski, and the other was lacrosse. Another important step was I was able to bring more women into coaching into St. Paul Central to make sure that women had a spot at the table. That was part of my decision at becoming an athletic director in the first place, was for young girls and girls in general, just to see women in leadership positions. As a high school athlete, I had a woman coach who inspired me. Her name was Betty Richardson, and then in college I had a softball coach, Lori Meyer, and I feel it's very important for women and girls to see other girls and women in those positions and roles. Just making sure that the coaches that we hired represented the population at which I served. So not just women, but also people of color in those positions. You have to be there, you have to be willing to work hard, you have to be a good listener. And for me, what worked was just always having your door open, whether that's to the coaches, to the kids, a place where they felt welcome and comfortable to come in and talk and just hang out. And just being honest, being yourself goes a long way in dealing with people in general. I think one of my favorite memories was we had a tennis doubles, female tennis doubles, make it to the state tournament, and they were sisters. I'm sitting in the stands and it's just me. I'm there early and kind of watching the kids warm up, and then all of a sudden I look and we have a large support group of students section that are coming in. Our kids didn't have a lot of tennis etiquette, and it wasn't because they were trying to be disrespectful, they just didn't understand the rules of tennis as far as when to cheer and not. And so they were cheering at inappropriate times, and I remember the tournament staff having to come over a couple of times and giving our kids a quick 101 on tennis etiquette. And after the match was over, I remember talking with Les and saying, you know, he said, "Oh man, that was awesome having all those kids show up." He said, "I don't know if we've ever had that before." So that was a wonderful memory to have. First, I would like to thank the MnIAAA and the committee for this honor. Next, I would like to thank Brenda. Thank you for the last 34 years, always being there by my side, being willing to help in any way and every way possible. I would like to thank my parents, Bill and Peggy Funk, for teaching me the hard the hard knocks of life and also the best values in life, and that is to work hard. My siblings, Cookie, Pat, Mike, Tom, Jane, Jim. I would like to thank Mary McBee. Without Mary McBee, my principal of 25 years, she always had my back, her door was always open. I'd like to thank my 2 administrative assistants, Adam Hunkins and Laura Ranham. I couldn't have done this job without you. And I'd also like to thank the St. Paul Central community. What a loving, supportive, caring community St. Paul Central was for 32 years. I didn't work a day in my life, I had fun. I would like to thank the St. Paul athletic directors, in particular my mentor, Jerry Keenan, Nancy Galligan, Sue Sadjovic, and Jeannie Kranz. What a great group of women to help lead St. Paul athletics with. Also, I'd like to thank the Region 3AAs and the 3AA committee for your support and help with decisions over the years. Thank you.